Everybody wants it, but not everybody has it. And it's a relationship with yourself to where you create a foundation that is so far wide and deep that you can actually represent who you are. Now, that is called confidence. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't even have relationships with themselves. They have what you call masks. They come in with a version of them that gets the trick done, and then, of course, when it becomes important, the mask comes off. And then you leave yourself to be disappointed in your relationships, to be disappointed in your business, to be disappointed by your employees, to be disappointed by your family. So, today we're going to be showing you how to have a real relationship with yourself and how you can create that. Now, another word for this is confidence. Not the confidence that you see the suave James Bond type walking into a room. Here's the good news about it. You won't even care about what other people think. And I want to show you guys how you can do that because it's actually very simple. Part of a lot of what's changed my life was my ability to interact freely and realizing that I actually couldn't even do the things that I wanted to do if I had the room to do so. So it made me realize that I'm not free. So this is the component that an individual needs to incorporate in order to be free. After all, if anybody wants anything, it's freedom. And they also want freedom of being. And when you begin to realize that your mask and that the traits that you've adopted are also part of that strategy to keep you trapped in a version of you that isn't you, which leaves you unfulfilled, miserable, and forever ungrateful. So we're going to be showing you guys how to switch that up really easily. One of the easiest things that anybody can do in order to actually start incorporating real confidence is overcome the fear of rejection. It blew my mind when I realized that 95% of becoming confidence is overcoming the fear of rejection. And of course, how does the paradox work? Well, oh my God, I'm so afraid of it. How can I interact with it? Well, get rejected. That's the whole point. The whole point is that you actually do put yourself in a position to where you are rejected. Now, you're probably like, well, then that's probably what made me feel so inferior, made me feel resentful, made me feel angry, made me feel like I'm not enough, made me doubt myself, made me feel ashamed. Here's the point. You're going to do it with intention. Now, when you have intention, it means that you're going to pay attention to something and you're going to look at it. And this time you're going to do it with personal discovery, which means that you are in your own way a hero going about the unknown journey. You're going past beyond the walls. But you're doing it so that you can come back with glory. You can come back with skill. You can come back with swordsmanship. You can come back with poetry. You can come back with the ability to dance. That's the whole point, that you go past the wall and you come back. That is what intention is. It's to do it not just to get eaten by bears or to go into the scariness to see how long you can last. No. Who do I want to be? What's on the other side of that rejection? So what you end up doing is you go on the other side of that wall. You step into this new frame of mind. I am here to get rejected and learn about myself. Not get rejected and find out that I have nothing that I walked in with. The reality is, your state's going to be exactly the same. One of the biggest discoveries in my life was realizing that if there was a pretty girl that I wanted to speak to, and I didn't go up to her, I'd be in the exact same place even if I did. I always found that it did not change the situation that you are in. It could only amplify it. So you're left with a little bit of ego. That's a different part in this video. So what you guys are going to be doing is putting yourself in the face of rejection with the intention to be rejected. A lot of the time, what do? We pedestalize before we even see a person, before we even get the job, or before maybe it's even an interview or a video that you want to put out that maybe would open up doors to new avenues of clientele. So you put yourself in a position intentionally versus non-intentionally. Non-intentionally will reinforce your feelings of resentment and anger. But if you go, no, I'm here to get laid out. I'm here to get decimated in this interaction. I'm here to lose the job. I'm here to burn this lead. Then what ends up happening is you release the expectations from yourself. And then you could start taking those small steps forward into a future where, guess what? You are more free in your behavior, which is already the first step to feeling like you are worthy, which is what confidence is. I am worthy. So the difference is if you don't set the intention, you just find yourself feeling negative emotion because you didn't get your outcome. When you set the intention to identify with the action, and the action is to be rejected and to approach and to engage and to maybe even fail, then what ends up happening is that you are creating conviction through behavior, which is the true foundation of what makes a man a man. He is action-oriented, and he identifies with the action, and he makes his personality through his ability to achieve the action, not the outcome. So Now, there's a whole thing to the fear of rejection when we get into that, because it's the most important aspect, is that there are three things that often slow people down, and they don't even know why they fear it so much. So the best way to put it is, how fear works is sometimes we'll cut our hand off so we don't need to cut the arm off. Because really what you're trying to do is stop it before it gets to a certain point. And rejection, I guess you could say, has 3 points, very similar to a limb. You got your wrist, you got your elbow, and you got your shoulder. And so what you got over here is that a lot of the time people don't know this. This is what you call a social and base interaction. It is the, hey, what's up, what's your name, where are you from? Cool, what are you doing? That is the social and base. Now this is the foundational. It's the what you believe in, what you want in a partner, what kind of love are you looking to create. And this one, well, this one is the toughest. It's the sexual and intimate levels that you want to be seen and received. If you have a gap, either on a social base level, on a foundational, or a sexual or intimate level, you will fear rejection. Because fear is a blanket statement. It's, okay, you could walk into a room and what do you get? A feeling of anxiety. Now that feeling of anxiety is not self-defining towards the danger that's in the room. It was an old danger or an anticipated danger after an interaction, even after a social one. If you've been broken up with, you probably felt this, which is you're not afraid of the approach. You're afraid of what will happen on a sexual and intimate level because maybe that's where you were hurt. So the best part about understanding the fear of rejection is, where do you get hurt? Maybe for saying the things that you believe results in abandonment. Or maybe for trying to show the parts of yourself on a sexual level, those needs aren't being met, which leads to rejection. Or even just on a social and base level, how you look. It doesn't allow you to increase the strength at any point. So once you establish that, those are the three things you need to work on. Establish where your wound is. And then you could start actually creating a tight chain that could be given weight. It could be pulled at. Because unfortunately, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So once you establish, okay, I know where I fear the rejection, I'm going to go ahead and get rejected in that, but this time with intention. And I can give an example. Number one, social base level. Maybe you fear just base level interactions. Start approaching more. Start getting into more of those interactions. Now, if you fear a foundational level, well, then that's great. Start going on more dates and talking about real things that are true about you. And this time, say it so that they walk out. And this time, you will have a deeper relationship with what you believe in. And even better, you can challenge it. Because you can actually start to evolve those beliefs or abandon those ones and incorporate new ones to guarantee success. And the last one is a sexual and intimate level. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't even have the ability to say what they need in the bedroom. They don't even say what they need on an intimate level, how they want to be touched, how they want to be fucked, how they want to be given, how they want to be respected, how they want to be shown, how every single aspect of vulnerability. That's the deepest place in which one can go. Well, how do you do that? Start communicating. Say what you need. Leave a room open for rejection. And the best part about all of this is that you start to overcome scarcity. Because this time you're doing it with intention, which means that you're out on an adventure for self-discovery. And the best thing that could ever happen is that somebody sees that you are looking for that. And in doing so goes, wow, this guy isn't afraid. They are worthy. So that's the first part, fear of rejection, overcoming that, putting yourself in those situations on a social level, on an intimate level, on a foundational level, developing a relationship with all of you, because isn't that what we are composed of? And then you start to go, oh, wow, there's so much of me, and I can have anybody, which is abundance, or I have a limited amount of time and an unlimited amount of options. That is the mindset you have when stepping into it, because you're the one that's looking for rejection. So you got unlimited rejection, which means you got unlimited growth. So start taking the action, start engaging in the approach. And the next one is, well, very simple. If you are non-confrontational, your ability to be confident is non-existent, because you will never have the ability to challenge yourself. When engaging in confrontation, you start to shake your foundation and test your ability to stand great weight. Now, the beauty of confrontation is that it gives you an ability to challenge yourself. Maybe it's go, hey boss, I want a raise. Or, hey, what's your number? Again, confrontation has the ability for you to not get what you want. And a lot of the time, people would rather hush hush, and in doing so, remove their voice. Confident people have a voice, and they're great at confrontation. In fact, they've created what you call healthy confrontation, which is the ability for both people to be happy. So if you know that for a fact you can engage in any conversation, and whether it be foundational, whether it be social, or whether it be intimate, that you can engage in that conversation and know what you are worth, and what your message is, that creates a broadened foundation that can support more weight. Now, the reason why I love confrontation is that I'd say for the first time, people like to externalize it. It's not always just with other people. It's also with yourself. You can catch yourself doing things that just, it doesn't align up with who you are. And I've noticed that in my life, the best thing that ever happened was the ability to be locked in a room or shut down during a pandemic. Is that it gave me the ability to go, oh my God, there's so much of me that isn't me. Because when you see the world shuts down and when all the doors close, you're left with yourself and your own dialogue and how you feel. So the next part is realizing that the only way that it works from rejection to confrontation is a relationship with your values. Now, the most confident people in the world are people that can stand up for what they believe in. They can say what's true. They can say the truth. They can say how they feel. And they also know that what they say, they believe in. So it's not so much of a fake courage that you put off. It is, no, this is who I am. Because I've done the work myself to gain a relationship with my values, which is a representation of who I am. So when you begin to understand that if you can actually connect yourself to your values to a point where you can ask yourself a question, can I say the truth? Maybe it'd be very controversial at a dinner table with all my loved ones, or even a bunch of strangers. What story are you telling yourself about what you're capable of? Confidence is your ability to believe that you are capable to uphold your beliefs and values. As a man, we are a representation of our values. Or even when a woman finds a man desirable, she sees the shoulders. What does she see? She sees discipline. She sees the watch. And what she see? Ambition. Maybe she sees a whole list of other qualities while being well-spoken. And there's a connection to what you believe in, and being able to say it shows you how much you believe it. So you finally connect yourself to your values, to those core values, and you have the ability to say what you believe, to do what represents you. And you will never doubt yourself, because you always ask yourself a question: am I doing what is true to me? Am I doing what I believe is right? And what happens is you start to dive so deep into yourself. You start to find who you are again. And by the way, you don't wake up with an imposter. You wake up with a total and complete understanding of who you are, that you are worthy because you actually adopted these values and you are going to be the one that brings them in. There is no stronger feeling of conviction than knowing that you can say the truth and do what you believe in. And you won't run away. It is the purest form of courage. It is a representation of who you are. And the most confident people, and even more so, the most strong, good people are people that can say the truth about themselves. They can say the truth about the world. They can do what they believe, and they can do things that represent them against all odds. And the ones that persist are the ones that win. The ones that keep showing up with that authentic behavior are the ones that attract their tribe. They find their love. They make their wealth. Because when you found the truth in yourself, you become unique. When a man becomes unique, he becomes universal. When you become like no one else, you become relatable. And that leaves us with our last point. You're going to make a commitment to what you believe in. A commitment to what you believe that you're capable of. And what happens when you make these commitments is you no longer identify with what. You ask yourself, who do I need to be? That man has everything you could ever wish for. That woman has everything that you can ever dream of. We are our values. And our ability to put those values in the world are what make us confident. When we remove ego within our hearts, and when we stop trying to be someone for anybody else other than our own amusement, and that's truly when we become confident. And I like to say it is the passage of the clown, or the way of the fool. The most courage is the courage in being yourself. To live for your own amusement. And to make that enough. And that is truly when you are enough.